A quiet court ruling in Panama sent shockwaves through global trade and great power politics. A decision that could reshape control over one of the most strategic waterways on Earth, the Panama Canal. On January 29, 2026, Panama Supreme Court unanimously ruled that long-standing port concessions at the Panama Canal were unconstitutional. These ports, Balboa on the Pacific side and Cristobal on the Atlantic, are not just docks, they are gateways to global commerce. For decades, they were operated by Panama Ports Company, a subsidiary of Hong Kong-based CK Hutchison, owned by billionaire Li Ka-shing. The company had controlled these ports since the 1990s under agreements quietly extended in 2021. But an audit in 2025 changed everything. Panama's comptroller alleged irregularities, violations of competitive bidding laws, and breaches of the Constitution itself. The court agreed and invalidated the entire legal framework behind the deal. Operations don't stop immediately, but the future? Now completely uncertain. And this is where geopolitics takes over. In 2025, CK Hutchison announced a massive $23 billion sale of its global port assets, including these Panama ports, to a consortium led by BlackRock, a major U.S. investment firm. That deal stalled, reportedly after objections from Beijing. China insists these ports were purely commercial, but Washington saw something else. The Panama Canal handles about 5% of global seaborne trade, over 14,000 ships a year, oil, grain, containers, even U.S. naval vessels. For the United States, nearly 40% of its container traffic passes through here. For China, it's the second most used route after the U.S., vital for exports and raw materials. Control or influence matters. And under Donald Trump's second term, that concern turned into confrontation. Trump repeatedly claimed China was operating the canal, calling it a national security threat. In his January 2025 inaugural address, he declared, "We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back." That rhetoric revived the Monroe Doctrine, pressuring Panama to unwind Chinese-linked investments. Diplomatic clashes followed. U.S. officials called the ports a future choke point in any U.S.-China conflict. China accused Washington of using fear and lies. Soon after, Panama's audit, then the lawsuit, now the ruling. For China, this is a major strategic blow. Losing these ports weakens its footprint in Latin America, undercuts the Belt and Road Initiative, and limits leverage over a critical trade artery. For the U.S., it's a quiet win, achieved without force, but with law, pressure, and influence. And for Panama, a balancing act between sovereignty and superpower rivalry. Because this wasn't just a legal decision, it was a signal that the battle for global choke points is no longer hypothetical, it's already underway.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update. Download the One India app now.